are watching the news from the Sultanate of Oman television. First, the headlines. On behalf of His Majesty the Sultan, His Highness Sayyid Fahd bin Mahmoud Al Saeed receives the Director General of the Islamic World Educational, Cultural and Scientific Organization. The work of the 5th Conference of the International Working Group of Phytoplasma Specialists is held at Sultan Qaboos University. And the Conference of the Future of Gas in Light of the Energy Transition discusses the best practices related to developing the value of the gas industry at the regional and global levels. Those were the headlines. Now for the news in detail. His Majesty Sultan Haytham bin Tariq has sent a cable of greetings to His Excellency President Isaias Afwerki of Eritrea on the occasion of his country's independence anniversary. Meanwhile, His Majesty the Sultan has received a cable of thanks from His Excellency President Macky Sall of Senegal in reply to His Majesty's cable of greetings on the occasion of his country's National Day. On behalf of His Majesty Sultan Haytham bin Tariq, His Highness Sayyid Fahd bin Mahmoud Al Saeed, Deputy Prime Minister for the Council of Ministers today, received His Excellency Dr. Salim bin Mohammed Al Malik, Director General of the Islamic World Educational, Cultural and Scientific Organization, ISISCO, who is currently visiting the Sultanate of Oman. At the beginning of the meeting, the guest expressed his happiness for visiting the Sultanate and what it provided him with a good opportunity to review the relations between the organization and the Sultanate of Oman. His Highness welcomed the guest and the accompanying delegation. His Highness expressed the appreciation of the Sultanate of Oman for the efforts made by the organization to raise the level of international cooperation in the field of education, culture, information, human and social sciences, and the role played by the organization in achieving coordination and interdependence among the countries of the Islamic world. Pointing to His Highness's support, the Sultanate of Oman for the organization's continuous performance of its tasks entrusted to it. On the other hand, His Highness reviewed the process of sustainable development in the country, where education, science, and technology are the most important pillars and receive great attention from the government. For his part, His Excellency Dr. the Director General of ISISCO expressed his appreciation for the renaissance achieved by the Sultanate of Oman in all parts of the country and for the Sultanate's constructive role in supporting the organization and enabling it to fulfill its mission. His Excellency praised the important role played by Oman through the Omani National Commission for Education, Culture and Science in promoting dialogue between civilizations and encouraging reapproachment between world cultures. The meeting was attended by Her Excellency Dr. Madiha bint Ahmed Al-Shaybaniya, Minister of Education and Chairperson of the Omani National Commission for Education, Culture and Science, and Amina bin Salim bin Rashid Al-Blushi, Secretary of the Omani National Committee. The meeting was also attended by His Excellency Ambassador Khalid Fath al-Rahman, Director of the Center for Civilizational Dialogue at ISISCO, and Dr. Salim bin Hilal Al-Habsi, Director of the National Committee's programs at the organization. Under the auspices of His Excellency Dr. Saud bin Hamoud Al-Habsi, Minister of Agriculture, Fisheries and Water Resources, the work of the 5th Conference of the International Working Group of Phytoplasma Specialists is being held at Sultan Qaboos University, and we have more details on the following report.
Sultan Qaboos University, represented by the College of Agricultural and Marine Sciences, inaugurated the fifth conference of the International Working Group of Phytoplasma Specialists. The conference, which is hosted by the Sultanate of Oman for the first time in the Middle East, comes with the participation of more than 250 participants from 59 countries around the world, including 130 physical participants and 120 remotely.
The conference or the meeting will focus on phytoplasma diseases, detection of phytoplasma diseases. There will be also papers. We will have over 100 presentations that will deal with phytoplasma detection, phytoplasma transmission by vectors, omics of phytoplasmas, also a management of phytoplasma diseases.
Phytoplasma is a bacteria-like organism that causes many diseases to plants in various countries of the world and has caused losses to millions of trees in several countries. It's also the main cause of witch brooms disease in lemons, which has destroyed more than 500,000 lemon trees in the Sultanate of Oman and several other countries. The plant pathology laboratory at Sultan Qaboos University is one of the world's leading laboratories in the field of plant diseases and is ranked first in the world in some fungal plant diseases. Its researchers are ranked among the best in the world in the field of phytoplasma diseases during 2017-2021.
Phytoplasma is a disease attacking a plant and give us a very high lose in economic losing in the plant, and even most of the agriculture farmer, they face the problem. Omani has a lot of agriculture, so they have same things. They have a lot of phytoplasma and disease. So what I understand is Omani now they have biggest lab in the world about the phytoplasma, so that's why we are here. And the goal of this meeting, everybody discuss about how we are to make that disease come down and not losing a lot of money.
The conference, which will continue until May 25th, will discuss phytoplasma diseases that affect plants and how to control and prevent these diseases. It focuses on developments in agricultural sciences and technology related to the diagnosis and treatment of plant diseases caused by the phytoplasma, as well as the study of insects that transmit this disease and how to control and prevent them. It also focuses on developments in agricultural sciences and technology related to the diagnosis and treatment of plant diseases, particularly those caused by phytoplasma. Abdullah bin Ahmed Al-Rubai, Sultanate of Oman Television, Sultan Qaboos University.
The activities of the annual conference and exhibition of the Gas Manufacturers Association in the countries of the Gulf Cooperation Council countries kicked off in its 29th edition. The conference discussed the future of gas in light of the energy transition. The conference also discussed best practices related to developing the value of the gas industry at the regional and global levels, pointing to the growth of the Sultanate of Oman's exports of liquefied natural gas. Still to come on News Bulletin. To demonstrate the significance of tracing the influence of Omani history through different eras and geographic areas, the Conference of Ash-Sharqiyya South Governorate in the memory of the Omani history is organized in the Wilaya of Sur. Vice Admiral Abdullah bin Khamis, Al-Raisi, Chief of Staff of the Sultan's Armed Forces, received Rear Admiral Juan Martin, Commander of the Naval Force Atalanta Operation, who's currently visiting the Sultanate of Oman. During the meeting, they discussed a number of issues related to maritime security in the region. National Defense College at the Academy of Strategic and Defense Studies continues implementing the fourth parallel program, Media Handling Skills. The program discussed development of mass media, rules of handling them, TV interviews, media statement, media interviews, and audio transmitter. The program comes within the national role that the ministry undertakes and is meant for enhancing the skills and leadership capacity of a number of their excellencies under secretaries at the government units, as well as senior officers at the Sultan Armed Forces and other security and military bodies. To highlight the efforts made by government institutions in the field of digital transformation, the Ministry of Transportation, Communication and Information Technology inaugurated today the first edition of Oman Digital Government Forum. More details on the following report.
Within the activities of COMEX 2023, the Ministry of Transportation, Communications and Information Technology inaugurated Oman's first Digital Government Forum to shed light on the efforts made in the field of government digital transformation program as a key pillar of the digital economy and an enabler of Oman Vision 2040.
The forum is considered to be a national platform where government, private sector from different countries, Oman, GCC and around the world can exchange their experience and experience in the digital transformation, as well as it's a good platform for Oman also to promote the digital transformation, the advancement of online services that is which are measured by the United Nations. Oman is now in ranked 50 in the United Nations out of 193 countries. We're looking at the indicators here in this forum as well to see how can we improve it, how can we learn from others, from the experience of advanced countries in GCC and also around the world, best countries in UN ranking on online service indicator.
New digital services and solutions in the government sector were introduced at the event, including the centralized compliance system Iltizam, launched by the Public Authority for Special Economic Zones and Free Zones, or PAZ, as well as a questionnaire service to measure patient satisfaction with the services provided by the Ministry of Health through the Ashifa application.
Today we launched Iltizam system. It's reflecting our competences. And the Iltizam system, it's reflecting what we have to follow on all economic zone and free zone and industrial zones as a part of our regulations. It's including labor, HSE, building and environment as well. And it is one of our achievement in digital transformation program for this year.
Today we have launched the patient experience project through Ashifa application, where we measure the satisfaction of the clients through all the outpatient clinics in Oman. It's the phase one, where all clients, when they attend the OPD or the outpatient clinics, they will receive a notification through application of Shifa. They will give the response less than 60 seconds, a very quick, smart questionnaire, and then we'll have an open-ended question where they can put they can put the feedback and a response regarding the service improvement.
The first day of the forum also featured a dialogue session on government digital transformation, addressing the prominent challenges and obstacles facing the implementation of government digital transformation, proposing new solutions to overcome them, and exploring new tools that empower national competencies to ensure sustainability.
The outcomes of the first of its kind forum endeavor to expedite government digital transformation services towards attaining a thriving digital national economy. For the Sultanate of Oman Television, Salih Bakhalfan al-Rahbi, Muscat.
The Middle East Conference of Medical Physics, hosted by the Sultanate of Oman, concluded its sessions. We have more details in the following report.
The conference of the Middle East Federation of Medical Physics Organization concluded this morning. The four-day event organized by the Minister of Health, represented by the Royal Hospital, with the participation of a number of medical physicists, radiologists, oncologists, clinical scientists and radiation safety specialists, regulatory authorities, biomedical engineers, radiation therapists, radiology technologists, radiochemists, researchers, nurses and students in related fields, in addition to those interested in the field of artificial intelligence, including programmers and developers of algorithms in the health sector from different countries of the world. The conference came out with a number of recommendations, the most important of which is organization of workshop related to artificial intelligence on a beginner and advanced basis. During the days of the conference, 40 international speakers in the fields of radiation therapy, nuclear medicine and diagnostic radiology, as well as a number of experts and legislators in radiation protection from the International Atomic Energy Agency and the International Federation of Medical Physics Organizations, attended the conference. Abdullah bin Ahmed al-Rubi'i, Sultanate of Oman Television, Muscat.
The Office of South Batina Governor signed a marketing outlet handover agreement for job seekers with disability needs in cooperation with the Ministry of Labor and Assess for Sustainable Projects, the supervising agency on the implementation of the agreement. This comes after the construction of the marketing outlets by the municipality of South El Batina as part of the employment initiative from the Office of South Batina Office for Individuals with Disability in order to provide them with job opportunities appropriate to their challenges. The government selected optimal locations and landmarks for the businesses to attract more customers and visitors to the outlets. In Jordan's capital of Amman, a press conference on the 10th Sultan Qaboos Award for Culture, Arts and Literature was held to introduce the award and its fields for the current round. The press conference was organized by Sultan Qaboos Higher Center for Culture and Science in the Applied Science Private University. The event included a detailed presentation on the current award categories and the highlights of the previous awards. The organizers also introduced the award requirements for each category and the submission deadlines. 925 cases were released within the 10th version of the Fak Qurba initiative with the support of various institutions and individuals. The cases that were released were distributed to all the governorates, and the total number of those released in the 10th version of the initiative reached 5,894 people. To demonstrate the significance of tracing the influence of Omani history through different eras and geographic areas, National Records and Archive Authority organized the Conference of Ash-Sharqiyya South Governorate in the memory of the Omani history in the Wilaya of Sur. More details in the following report.
National Records and Archive Authority organized the Conference of Ash-Sharqiyya South Governorate in the memory of the Omani history in the Wilaya of Sur. This conference is a continuation of the National Records and Archive Authority's effort to trace the influence of Omani history through different eras and geographic eras. 27 papers will be presented by a number of researchers divided into 3 themes: the historical and political, the economic and social, and the cultural.
This conference will be presented in 27 papers divided in 3 themes: the political and historical theme, and the social and economic theme, and the cultural theme.
This conference aims at introducing the historical role played by Ash-Sharqiyya South Governorate throughout its long history, and the reflection of this role on the history of the governorate through reviewing and studying of various historical sources, records, and documents. The conference will also focus on the role of the Ministry of Labor and Assess for Sustainable Projects, the supervising agency on the implementation of the agreement. manuscripts, and oral narratives. In addition, the conference will review and analyze records and manuscripts related to the governorate.
The documentary exhibition South Al-Sharqiyya in the Memory of Omani History shows the history and the culture of South Al-Sharqiyya Governorate. The exhibitions consist of 8 sections. The first one is History of Archives, South Al-Sharqiyya in the Memory of Omani History, South Al-Sharqiyya in the Journalism, and so on.
Along with the conference, an exhibition is held to display the historical aspects of Al-Sharqiyya South Governorate, featuring a collection of historical records, pictures, and maps that demonstrate a part of the ancient history of Sultanate of Oman. Al-Sharqiyya South, in the memory of the Omani History Conference, came to introduce the historical role that South Al-Sharqiyya Governorate played over ages and how it reflected on its current situation. Sultan bin Saif al-Sarai from South Al-Sharqiyya Governorate, Wilaya of Sur. A 7-day ceasefire that Sudan's warring factions signed on Sunday began Monday night. Residents reported sporadic fighting today between the warring sides in the capital of Khartoum and a northern city. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken warned Sudan's rival generals to abide by the latest ceasefire or face possible sanctions. Yesterday's ceasefire is the 7th to be announced since the conflict between the Sudanese army, led by General Abdel Fattah Burhan, and the Rapid Support Forces commanded by Mohammed Hamdan Dagalo broke out last month. All the previous truces have been violated. European Union High Representative Joseph Borrell said today that training of Ukrainian pilots on F-16 fighter jets has begun in several countries. Borrell said the decision comes to provide this military support because it's absolutely needed in order to Ukraine to continue defending. Meanwhile, Netherlands Defense Minister Karsa Ollongren was happy with the U.S. green light to allow Ukrainian pilots to get training to fly F-16s. U.S. President Biden announced during last week's Group of 7 summit in Hiroshima, Japan, that the U.S. would join the F-16 coalition. His green light came after President Volodymyr Zelensky spent months pressing the West to provide his forces with American-made jets as he tries to repel Russia's now 50-month-old grinding invasion. Meanwhile, climate change protesters were dragged away by security guards at oil giant Shell's annual shareholder meeting in London today, after activists tried to storm the stage and cause disruption at the event. Several attempted to run into the stage, but they were stopped by security guards who carried them out of the room at London's Excel Conference Centre. The activists, which included members of the Greenpeace and Extinction Rebellion, say Shell was making record profits at the cost of the environment. Like other oil companies, Shell posted bummer profits this year as global oil and natural gas prices soured after Russia's invasion of Ukraine in February. Shell said its annual profits for the year 2022 was a record of $39.9 billion that drew public anger at the UK, where millions of households and businesses have struggled to cope with the souring energy bills. This is the Sultanate of Oman television. Before we end tonight's news bulletin, here are the main points once again. On behalf of His Majesty the Sultan, His Highness Sayyid Fahd bin Mahmoud Al Saeed receives the Director General of the Islamic World Educational, Cultural and Scientific Organization. The work of the 5th Conference of the International Working Group of Phytoplasma Specialists is held at Sultan Qaboos University.
And the Conference of the Future of Gas and Light of the Energy Transition discusses the best practices related to developing the value of the gas industry at the regional and global levels. With that, we come to the end of tonight's news bulletin. From all of us here at the newsroom and the studios is good night and stay safe.